So starting on all fours. So just make sure you can see yourself. So we're basically going to be on all fours. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to be, you're wanting to be stretching arms and legs out into the star on your backs. And that's, you know, as much room as you need, really. So I'm going to start, we're going to start on all fours. Hands, the fingers and thumbs spread apart. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Perfect. And we're taking some spine circles. So take the ribs over to one side, up to the ceiling, over to the other side and drop down. And then keep going in the same direction. Maybe 4 or 5 in one direction and then change direction. So ribs, think of the ribs as being the part that you're focusing on moving. It's like your rib cage, your body is a tombola. Excellent. Great. Okay, so that's your vertical circles, if you like. Now pretty much keep your body, your torso in the same position and take horizontal circles. Exploring the pressure through your wrists. Circling your torso around. Imagine if you had a light above your head, the shadow, and then change direction after 3 or 4. The shadow that your head creates, draw take that circle, that shadow, take that shadow in a circle. There you go, got there in the end. Whew. That was hard work. Good. Brilliant. So you're going to find stress through those wrists, but that's good. We want that to happen. Think about shoulders, think about hips. Change direction if you haven't already. It can get quite hypnotic going in one direction all the time. Try and apply a bit of pressure through the arms and the wrists. And let's stop in the centre and just take some shoulder rolls. So something I always do when I'm standing up. It's actually a really good thing to do on all fours. So at the moment I'm taking my shoulder rolls backwards and then I'm going to reverse it. So I'm letting my rib cage drop down and around. Good. So try not to move forwards and backwards, just stay over, shoulders are above your hands, strong work all the way around the shoulders. Great, okay, from there, have a little look in. We're going to change the shape of our back. You're going to draw one knee in, you're going to take the opposite hand just to touch the shin, and you're really going to try and round your back, creating a curve in your upper back especially, and then just extend that opposite arm and leg to touch the floor. And so now I'm really square in my torso. 3 times on one side and then we'll swap to the other side. So you're rounding, try and use your muscles in your tummy to draw that knee in. You can touch the shin but don't pull the knee in, that's called cheating. Round the back and then extend. 3 times, breathing out when you round that back because you're really scooping your tummy, and then I would suggest a breath in when you're extended. When you've done the 3, swap sides. So rounding, tucking in and extending into a square box. Good job everyone. Think about the tissue box of your torso. So your hips and your shoulders, when you've done the rounded bit, are really square and parallel to the floor. Great job. Go back to the first side. Again, let's take a rounding first. So round over and then extend so you're touching the floor, and then lift to the height of the body. So the arm is up by your ear, the leg is level with your hips. Keep your arm and your leg still, circle your hand and your foot at the wrist and the ankle. Keep everything else really still. Good. 5 or so in each direction. One direction will be relatively easy, the other direction will just feel really weird. Think about those hips being level. Andrea's got dog joining in issues. Great. They do love a bit of all fours work, the dogs. And then to finish, when you've done those 5 in each direction, touch the floor, bring the hand back in, bring the knee back in, swap sides. We're rounding the back first. Tuck everything in. Really round that back. Go from touching the floor before you lift, so that you know you're absolutely square, and then circling. Foot and hand at the ankle and the wrist as much as you can, but the arm stays still, torso stays still, hips are level, shoulders are level. Change direction. See if you can splay the fingers, splay the toes apart as well. Brilliant. And touching the floor to come back in. Great job. Carrying on all fours if you can. We're now looking at mobilising the spine a little bit more. You're going to tuck under with your pelvis. In fact, let's just take this movement on its own first. And then release back to a neutral pelvis. Strongly tuck under, so you're really scooping your tummy in, really pushing that pubic bone forwards. The upper back will round, but don't go too crazy. Don't think about that bit too much. I don't want you to over-exaggerate that bit. We're already quite rounded there. Couple more times. Big breath out, because you're squeezing all of that air out of your lungs and your tummy. And then hold the tuck under. Make sure your head is nice and relaxed. Stay tucked under as you take your hips back towards your heels. And about halfway, it should feel really nice. You should feel like you're getting a lovely stretch in your lower back, especially in that lumbar curve. And then stay tucked under, come forwards, bring your shoulders over your hands, let your back release into a neutral position, and now tuck your elbows in and take a press up, and then straighten those arms. Great. Okay, we're going again. Tuck under and reach back. So arms are quite straight. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. Stay tucked under. Take the front of your shoulders past your fingertips. Release your back at the same time as you tuck those elbows in and straighten the arms. It's strong work. Another 3 if you can. Tuck the pelvis under. Reach back. Breathing all the way through. Release your back. Tuck those elbows in so that they make contact with your ribs if you can. 2 more. You don't have to go very low, and you might find that when you bend your arms you don't actually touch the floor, touch your elbows to your ribs, but just stay forwards. Last one. Tuck those elbows in, bend them a little bit, and then lifting up, no reaching forwards with the head. Brilliant. Let's just bring our feet together, toes together, hips back on your heels all the way this time. Stretch those arms forwards, twiddle the hands and the wrists, and just take a slightly mad sway from side to side if that feels right for you. So breathing, moving, don't get stuck. In fact, while we're here, here's one I just made up. Your arms are extended out in front of you, and I'm taking my rib cage in that same circle we did at the very beginning. So ribs out to the side, up to the ceiling, out to the other side, drop them down. It's not as big a movement. I'm trying to keep my hips back on my heels all the time. So Sylvia, drop your hips back a little bit more. Sylvia, go back more with your bottom towards you. That's the one. Good. So I'm not lifting up too high. I'm just going as far as I can. Just 2 or 3 in each direction. Brilliant. Make sure you relax your head. Relax your head. Don't hold any stress there. Well done, everyone. Nice. Good. Sitting forwards or sitting upright. Sitting forwards at the front of your mat. This outfit of mine is not very good for moving around, so sorry about that. So we're going to take a C curve in the spine, so feet and knees are hip width apart, sitting as upright as you can. Hands are underneath the backs of the knees. You're trying to sit right up on those sit bones. We're going to take a C curve. Here's that lovely scooping action of the pelvis again. Stay in your C curve, come forward so your shoulders are over your hips, then come up through a neutral spine and then try and lift your chest and look up to the ceiling. And depending on body proportions, you might be able to straighten your arms and just lift and just hinge back a little bit. So this is what I call a little R. That's a little R, not a AHR, a little R for Romeo. And this is a capital C. So this is a big letter all the way around top of the head to the sacrum. This is only a small, little, subtle, much more subtle movement, an R. Try not to drop the head back because that's going to be uncomfortable on your neck. We're just taking that contrast between those two positions. Good, really nice everyone, well done. Take the C curve and find that point where you can just release your feet so that you're balancing basically, and you can just tippy tap your toes. Brilliant. Stay really scooped and really rounded. That was fantastic everyone. Bring your feet and knees together. Elbows are out to the side. So toes are touching the floor, feet and knees together, and you're just going to extend one leg with a beautiful pointed foot, which will make me very happy. Good, place that foot down. Excellent, nice. Nice bit of toe spreading apart there, Nikki, nice. Could see the daylight. Good, brilliant. So 4 singles, maybe another 1 or 2 singles. And then if you're feeling secure, both legs. Done the hard work, excellent. Really good, wow, look at that. Fantastic. I feel like I want to turn the camera around and take a quick shot of you all there. Good, so if you can, hold the legs there. Arms are away. Nothing needs to change. Good, beautiful. Take the hands back again. Just tap one toe, extend one and switch, and switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Good. Excellent. Stay really strong in that centre. Fantastic. And woo, sitting up and have a little relax. Good. Okay, you're going to like this next one. This reminds me. So I've just moved to the back of my mat. I'm gonna go forwards and backwards along the mat. So you just need to back up a bit so that you've got somewhere to go to. And we're just basically going to do this sort of walking on your bottom thingy. Yes. Good. And then walking backwards. Excellent. And we used to do this in the 80s when I was first teaching aerobics. And it was thought to, it sounds like an old wives' tale. It was thought to make your bottom smaller by pounding it onto the floor. Absolutely crazy. But the reason I wanted to do this is a bit like when we did the chair stuff. So keep going if you can. I wanted you to be in that position where your spine is quite upright and you're ending up quite naturally with one leg in front of the other, and the pelvis is rotating. So when one leg is in front of the other, one hip is in front of the other. And then you'll find that your shoulders will go in opposition as well. So one more, rolling back. Good. Excellent. Okay, and relax. So then coming to sitting up really nice and tall. So that's that's almost like anti-Pilates, that movement, but it's like the Garuda thing that he's talking a lot about, and it's all about the rotation around the spine. And then when we come to do a pure Pilates exercise, like sitting really upright, so weight equal on your sit bones, have a slight bend in your knees if you need to, but if you can, have the legs really straight. Squeeze the legs together, even if you've got your legs bent, squeeze your insteps together, your knees together, and now just tap your hands one side and the other side of your torso. Don't worry if you're, you know, it's not particularly comfortable for me to reach the floor with both fingertips, so I don't want you to collapse at all. I just want you to stay upright. Check that your legs are not moving. So check that you're keeping your pelvis absolutely still. So sitting as upright as you can, essentially you're rotating around your spine without all that wonderful movement that we just allowed to happen. Yeah, great. Keep your head facing forwards for me, and just notice there's not a great deal of rotation. And also when you've got your head facing forwards, you can see whether those legs are ending up with one leg longer than the other or not. Try and keep them absolutely still. Rotate, so you're taking the shoulders as much as possible. Great, okay, and relax. That's quite tough. Brilliant. On from there into the bridge. So nice, but the 4-point bridge and the 3-point bridge. So this is strong work. I wanted to sort of use the power of the floor today. So hands are out to the side, they're behind you, you're leaning back a little bit. Feet are at least hip width apart, nice and parallel, and all you're going to do from here is push down through those feet, lift your hips up nice and high, good, and drop down. So just play with it a moment, find what's comfortable for you. So for me, that's quite strong on my tight shoulder, my right shoulder. So play that with the hand position. You might find it's more comfortable to have your fingertips facing forwards a little bit more. Or you might want them to, your fingertips, so facing backwards for me is a stronger stretch. I'm actually quite comfortable, hands out to the side. So see if you can get those hips up all the way. Good. And you're trying to open out your chest as well. Brilliant. Really good. Push down through the feet. Good, so that's 4 points. So if you're really not liking this, if it's hurting your shoulder or you're just uncomfortable, feel free to go onto your back and just take some straight bridges all the way up there. Stick with it if you can though. So we're moving on to the 3-point bridge. So the hand that I'm going to leave behind, I'm going to put this a little bit more in the middle and bring the other elbow into my belly button area, and then it's the same thing with the legs, just on that one hand, fingertips are definitely facing back behind me, and I'm trying to reach up towards the ceiling. And again, you don't have to go very high, just reach up, lift your hips up. Good. Andrew, not good? Did that hurt? So lifting up if you can. Yeah, so do what you can. So Andrew, maybe do some on your back, darling. Just open up your hips. That's too much, yeah. Good, that's great, Tom, well done. So we're lifting up, so that's the fairly easy version. If you wanted to go a little bit more, if you're feeling quite confident, rather than taking that arm straight up, take your thumb, follow your thumb back to the wall behind you, and it just gives you a bit more of a stretch out. And it actually feels quite nice. I say that, I'm on my stronger side at the moment. So just do what you can. Have a go on the other side if you want to. Otherwise, drop down on your back. So just test the water first. You don't even need to lift the arm up. Just see if you can lift your hips up comfortably. It's one of those things that feels quite scary to start with, but it's not. It's just we don't generally do it. So we're strengthening the back line of the body. also opening up shoulders, getting that shoulder strength, hand strength much better. And then if you want to, just go all the way up and over. Brilliant, that looks nice, Nikki, well done. Nice, Julie, Matthew, great. Well done, Jane. Good. So Jane, you might find if you leave the hands where they were for the 4 point, that might feel a little bit unbalanced. When you're going to do the 3 point, you tend to put the one hand in the middle more. Yeah, so you're slightly open in the, so you're more open in the shoulders. Yeah, it's just usually a little bit more comfortable. That's the one, excellent, yeah. Good, great, okay, fantastic. We are going to, okay, so we've got another new little section today. Yeah, so we're going to sort of lean back on our hands a little bit, but not take any pressure onto them. This is just to be comfortable, but don't be collapsed back here. Try and have the chest lifted and the legs are bent. I'm going to go this way a little bit more. And initially just drop, in fact just open up one knee to the side and bring it back in, and then open up the other knee to the side and bring it back in. So this is all about just hip mobility, freeing up the hips. Good. Great. Try not to collapse in those shoulders. Good. So let's take one leg over, take the other leg over to follow it, and then lift the first leg, bring the second leg back in and to the other side. One leg, other leg over. So when I do that, I get quite a nice strong stretch at the front of my hip there. Come back to the centre and open up. And then again, one at a time. Coming back and back, opening out and relax, come back and back. Brilliant, okay. Both legs over together, and then centre, and then over to the other side, and centre. Good, have your feet apart a little bit. Great, okay, so we're going to sit up a little bit more. Maybe take those feet a bit wider. You can keep contact with the floor behind you, just to lean back a little bit, but try and sit a bit more upright. So we're going to move the legs into a Z sit. So if I face you, if I go this way, so legs are quite wide, shoulder width apart. I'm going over to the side and then I'm going to sit up. So I've got one leg at a right angle, this leg at a right angle. Yeah, and then come back. Legs are wide, so the feet stay where they are. Over to the other side and sit up. Good. So just when I say sit up, try and get your legs flat and then just come off with your hands if you can. That's it. And then open out and you're there. Great. And then if you can, I'd like you to try and have less reliance on your hands. But this might be too much for today. So just keep your hands behind you if you need to. Yeah. And in order to come through the centre, we're in that quite rounded position. So if I go to the side, I'm quite rounded here, and then I'm trying to sit into a neutral pelvis, rounded, neutral, rounded, neutral. Great, so just finish wherever you are, but finish so that you can see me. So Sylvia, stay where you are so that you're facing the camera. So you've got the legs in this Z sit, as some people call it, and then just place hands either side of that front knee and just pitch your weight forwards. So it should be quite a strong stretch in your outside thigh and buttock. Julie, you might not be feeling that much, so for you, I'd extend your back leg behind you a bit more. Yeah. Good, how's that feeling? You want to try and be nice and square with your shoulders over the leg. If you're not feeling it very much, extend the leg out behind you. Matthew, probably the same. So open up your back leg, open up your, that's the one, yeah, good. Brilliant, okay, sit yourselves up, bring that leg back in if you changed it over. You're going to come back to the centre, you're going to go over to the other side. I'm going to twiddle round so I'm still facing you. Yeah, and then again, hands forwards. So you're taking your shoulders, your chest over that front leg. It should be quite a strong stretch. So everyone else come back, so you come out of that stretch, you're coming back with your hands behind you, your legs there. Yeah, we're going to go back over to the first side again. I'm going to do it here actually. Over to the first side. And now bring the back leg around. Yeah. And so you're either here or you're here and you're just sitting really nice and upright. Yeah. So Andrew, that's a lovely crossover there, yeah, and then we're just rotating around, pulling that leg in with your opposite hand, turning towards the knee and trying to look behind you. Yes, nice. Brilliant. Put the other hand behind you if you can. So Sylvia, you need to swap your hands over, darling, look away from the screen. That's the one. Put your right hand behind you. That's perfect. Good. Unravel. Take that leg away and back behind you again. Good. And then we're unraveling. Hands are back. Over to the other side. Great. Bring the back leg round again. I'm just changing so that you can see me. That's perfect. Pull that knee in. So it might not be crossed over the other knee. It might just be pulled in here. And then, that's it Sylvia, so right hand, no, swap your hands over again, that's it, and put the left hand behind you, sit really upright and rotate and pull that knee in. Good. Nice, and breathe. Yes, fantastic, well done everyone, really good job. Okay, we are on our backs for some regular, fairly regular, normal stuff now. Sit up, so we're on your backs. So can you lower your screen at all? That's it. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to be on our backs with our hands behind our head for the abdominal curls. So in the base position. So hands interlaced at the back of the head. And up here. Bring those elbows forwards a little bit, looking up towards the ceiling. So your elbows are in your periphery vision. Your head is really nice and heavy. Let's just start with your feet and knees hip width apart, and then bring your knees together. Push your heels out a little bit. So go a little bit pigeon-toed with the feet and just squeeze your knees together. And then from there, we're just going to lift up and lower, just a plain old abdominal curl. Head is heavy in your hands, there's no change in your torso, you're hinging at the front of your hips. You can move your head around, squeeze those knees together, get a little bit of inside thigh activation going on as well. Good. Okay, open up the legs to parallel. Let's add on, so we're taking the abdominal curl, so feet and knees are hip width apart, nice and parallel. We're going to take our abdominal curl, we're going to add an abdominal curl, a knee fold to the abdominal curl. So coming up both ends together and lower, alternating, swapping sides each time. Knee fold and lower. Knee fold and lower. Make sure that knee finishes above your hip. The foot is slightly higher than the knee. There's absolutely no change in the pelvis, no rocking and rolling. No pushing up with the tummy, no pushing down with the lower back. No jamming your chin onto your chest. Keep the head still, keep it heavy. Hands are a baseball glove. Head is a bowling ball. Hands and arms, hands and elbows are that great big baseball glove. You've got two of them though. Although you wouldn't be able to interlace them behind your head, but you know what I mean. Good. Hopefully you're starting to feel some love going on there. Okay, so let's take the leg that's closest to the camera, take the other arm out on the floor on a diagonal, and we're going to lift the leg into a knee fold and at the same time reach across. In fact, I'm going to take my arm out to the side. I've changed that, sorry. So this arm is at a right angle to my body. That was 45 degrees, this is 90 degrees. Because what I want you to do is roll across that shoulder. Roll across the shoulder as you draw the knee in and then come back. Between 5 and 10 on this same side. So you should be feeling some good work in those obliques. Pelvis is staying really nice and strong. Good. Let's hold that leg up. Hold it there and the chest is up, you're twisted. Straighten the other leg along the floor. We're going to lift and lower the other leg 5 times. Lift and lower and lift and lower. Not too high, don't kick it, keep it nice and straight. 45 degrees. 5 times and lower. And everything comes back in and down, all of that on the other side. I'm going to turn this way so I can sort of still see what you're up to. So, arm is at right angle, hand is at the back of the head. We are just taking the abdominal curl to start with. Rolling across that shoulder. So the leg stays down. I think I only did I do the leg as well to start with? Can't remember. I think I just did the upper body. Yeah. So focus on the pelvis staying absolutely still. Get that twist, that rotation. Roll over the shoulder that's on the floor. Keep your head really supported in your hands. Between 5 and 10 of these, or maybe that was the next one. Can't remember. Okay, let's start to add the knee fold and lower. And knee fold and lower. Be really conscious that that opposite hip doesn't start to roll towards the knee that's in the air. Good. Get those crisscross muscles around your waist, around your ribs. Get them working. Good job, everyone. Hold that leg up there. Extend the other leg along the floor. You're just lifting to 45 degrees, but keeping the legs straight. Holding the twist, holding the rotation in the upper body. Just challenging the ability to keep the pelvis still. Only 5 times. I think I'm being very kind. Good job. And coming all the way in. Brilliant. I'm going to roll back over to the other side. Okay, we're going to take both ends coming in together and then stretching out into like a star shape. So it looks like this. We did this standing up the other day. And then we're going to add on rolling over to the side. So from the hands, in fact, let's go into the, so just watch me first. So we're going to be in the star, which is arms outstretched, legs outstretched, and quite nice and wide, as long as you've got the room. Bring your legs in, bring your elbows in, come up into a tight little ball. I'm hanging onto my knees, but actually it would be quite nice to, if you can, reach towards your heels. Really try and get that back rounded, toes to the floor, hands into the shoulders, and then extend. We'll do a few of those. Then we're going to add on to that. Just watch me a moment. You're going to come all the way into your tight little ball, and then you're going to roll over onto your side. When you're on your side, extend the top arm and the top leg. Don't try and do anything with the underneath arm and leg. And then allow that to just roll back onto your back. It should feel quite nice. And then extend the other arm and the leg back into your star. And then you're in again. And then you're rolling. And you're stretching as far away as you possibly can. Roll over onto your back. Extend everything. And then we're coming in. Here we go. So starting up, just make sure you've got enough room to do all that. So yeah, hopefully you have. So starting in the star position, legs are wide, arms are wide. Good. So bring those legs in, toes are still touching the floor, hands come past your face, tuck everything in. Come up into a really tight little ball. It's like you're trying to get your forehead on your knees. Really nice, great. Toes to the floor, head and shoulders down, stretch everything away. Point the feet, flex the feet, I don't mind, just go right through to your extremities, and now draw everything in. So this has to be a great big breath out. Really take all of that breath out of your body, and then really big breath in. And breath out. Breath in. 3 more if you can. Breath out. So it doesn't matter if you're not going into a really tight little ball. Just try and scrunch everything in. Hug those knees in. Use that hanging onto your knees to compress, get your head up, and just take that big deep breath out. Breath in when you're stretched apart. Everything into that star position. Breath out. 1 more. I do believe you've probably done a few more. And this time, when you're in your tight ball, roll over onto your side towards the, doesn't matter, if you're sideways onto the camera, roll onto towards me, towards the screen. Okay, and extend the top arm and leg. Just stretch them away, beautiful straight line. And then from there, just roll back onto your back again. So you've got one arm and one leg straight, the other side is bent. Extend the other side into your star position again, and coming back in to your tight little ball. Great, roll over onto your side. Stretch your top arm and top leg away. It's the only ones you can actually move. Roll onto your back. Let it all open out. Stretch the bent arm and leg. Extend them away as well. 2 more. Rolling in, round into that tight little ball. Roll over onto your side. Stretch the top arm. Feel like you're lifting your ribs up towards the ceiling. Roll, open everything out. Last one, tight little ball, roll onto your side, extend, stretch, 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 roll onto your back, and then finish in the star, stretch everything away. Ooh, and relax. Brilliant, well done everyone. Rolling over onto your sides. Into star, roll onto star. Brilliant, we're lying on our tummies. Adjusting clothing again. Okay, so onto your tummies and elbows. Good, so just starting off nice and easy. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. We're lifting the chest. In fact, let's allow the rib cage to drop down and lift up. So this is that sort of lift shaft analogy. Your shoulders, not your shoulders, sorry, your arms from your elbow to your shoulder is the lift shaft. Your rib cage, imagine your rib cage is a box. That's the lift. It's going up and down in the shaft of your arms. And yeah, the head is staying on top. So the head is on top of the rib cage box, if that makes sense. Good. And then holding up there as much as you possibly can. Keep those shoulders down, drawn down in your back. Put your hands flat on the mat. I've done this one before. This is the sort of slug action, but it's that pulling the chest through and lifting. So you're trying to take a chest pop. You're trying to fold over your upper back where we know it doesn't like to fold over, and you're just drawing the chest through. It's not a very big movement. Can be a little bit uncomfortable. Good. So try and really get your head on top of your shoulders. So there's a nice analogy in one of my Pilates books about your head being a rosebud. A rosebud. And you know how sometimes, and usually when you get them from Marks and Spencer's, there's always one in the thing where the top of it, the flower, is actually broken off, and you don't realise it till you get it home. So don't let your head be the broken one. Keep it all in line with the stem of your spine. And there's another rhyme. Amazing. Good. Okay, so this is just a good position to practice anyway. Make sure your lower back is feeling supported by keeping that belly button pulling in nice and tight. Push your pubic bone into the mat a little bit. From here, you're going to just draw your belly button back from the floor for all your worth, and then you're going to come up onto your knees and your elbows. So you're in elbows and knees plank. Feet and knees are hip width apart. You're holding it there. This should be relatively comfortable. So Sylvia, that's a little tiny bit too high with your hips, darling. Drop your hips down a little bit. That's it. So this is strong work. Good. It's just not as hard as a full plank on your hands and your toes, but it's still strong. And then lower, have a little relax and a little collapse. Good. We're going to add on to this, and this is especially for you, May, but it's a really good thing to do anyway. And Andrew, you'll definitely recognise this one. So belly button pulled back towards your spine. You're lifting those hips up. From there, you're going to curl your toes under, and then you're just going to straighten one leg. I'm going to straighten the leg that's closest to the camera, locking the back of or pushing the back of my knee up towards the ceiling, brushing the knee down to the mat 10 times, holding everything else really nice and still. This is so, so good for your knees. You're strengthening your quads. I've lost count. Another 3, I reckon. 2, 1. Good. And come back down, have a little break. Excellent. Try not to collapse too much. Belly button away. Come up onto those knees again. Elbows underneath the shoulders. Curl your toes under. Straighten out the other leg. So nothing should be changing apart from that leg straightening 10 times. 5. Another 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Good. If you're finding that quite hard work, do one more set for me each side. If that's relatively easy and you feel like you could maybe do a little bit more, come up onto your knees, curl those toes under, straighten the legs, and then from there we're going to just switch. One knee is touching, the other knee is touching. We're touching, touching, touching. Just for a few. No change in the body, no change in the height of the hips. Good. Try not to look at the camera, just look down. So you're either doing 10 on each leg again, single legs, or you're taking this switching action And just keep going until you feel like your thighs are about to explode, and then it's probably time to stop, or there might be stress somewhere else. My shoulders are feeling it quite a lot. And enough. Oh, well done. Woo, come down onto your tummy this time. Prone, sphinx and elbows and knees, plank and extend legs. Oh, actually, yeah, let's just take a, no, actually, let's come up onto all fours again. Great. So, let's just take some spine circles again. Both directions. Mobilising that spine, and then some horizontal ones. So I just did vertical ones, now I'm going horizontal, changing direction again. Brilliant. And then I just wanted to have a little exploration of getting up off the floor. So from your all fours, but sort of turning it into just a stretchy, rolling around type thing. So from all fours, curling your toes under, just lifting your hips, keeping your legs bent, pushing your chest back through your arms, bring your shoulders forwards, lower your knees with control. So quite fairly basic. So lift those hips, keep the legs bent, push the chest back, keep the arms nice and straight, relax your head here, and then shoulders over the hands and come back down again. Good. If you can, carrying on, lift the knees, push the hips back, straighten the legs this time. Now that's really strong. Strong stretch in the calves. I'm going to just walk my feet in together towards each other, and then I'm going to walk them back out again. So just padding through, 1 foot at a time, and then together, and then back out again. And then I'm going to walk my hands forwards towards my feet, but with my legs bent. Brilliant. And then just drop your hips down, or come into a crouch, or a full deep squat if you can. Either or. Good. And then hands down again onto the floor. Walk the feet back out. Let's come into the plank. So body's in a straight line. Can you take a slight small circle of your shoulders around your hands, both directions? Might be a bit much. And then lower those knees with control and stretching back into just toes, big toes together, knees wide, swaying from side to side. Great. Walking your hands round on the floor. So just walk them round, keep your legs where they are, hold that there. It's a very strong stretch on the side that you've walked away from, if you like. And then just try and take a back pop. So you're lifting your upper back up a little bit and then pushing it down. Not a very big movement, keep breathing. And then walk the hands round to the other side. So if this is difficult for you to get your hips all the way back on your heels, be on your elbows. And then round to the other side. If you can, stretch those arms away. You'll find when you first get into the position, it's a very strong, burning stretch. Take some back pops once it's eased off a little bit. Great, come back to the centre. Okay, I'm going to pop my mat back this way. I just wanted to move on to here, so sort of gradually coming up, but via our regular stretches that we would do from the floor. So from here, so you were in your all fours position. In fact, let's go back to the all fours position. So lifting your knees off, either walking your hands back into a full squat, good, or walking your hands forwards. In fact, let's come into a full squat and then let's turn around. Hands on the floor, one at a time, and then coming back the other way. So I'm just putting one hand down, the other hand down, just moving around really. Yeah. Fantastic. So get to a position where feet are now nice and wide. And your weight is on your hands again, and you're dropping taking the hips from side to side. So this is what we normally do. You're really quite familiar with this. Feet nice and wide, knees are going over the toes. Well done everyone, excellent. Keep the weight on the hands. Really good. Turn all the way around to the side so that you're in the nice long lunge. Brilliant. So let's take the opposite hand to the front foot, the other arm up to the ceiling. You're going to be turning away from the screen. Try and touch the ceiling. And then thread that needle through underneath. Come back to the screen. Well done. One more of those up to the ceiling. Open out. And all the way forwards. Brilliant. I wanted you to change your leg position, your back leg position here. So at the moment, both knees are parallel, both feet are parallel, facing forwards, facing the end of my mat. I'm going to turn the back leg out. So it's a yoga, it's a warrior pose. So I've turned out the hip and the foot, and then I can come up into this position. Yes, nice, really nice. And that's strong work on that leg. Take the hands down, bring the leg back to parallel. Really good. Twiddle round to the other side. Starting parallel. Brilliant. And now turn the back hip out and the foot and lift your chest. Really good, lovely. Well done everyone, fantastic. All the way, hands all the way down. Come back to wherever you like, but just feet nice and wide. Insteps parallel. Great, and let's just take a roll up through the spine. Coming up to stand, unraveling that spine all the way up to the top. Beautiful. Take a great big breath. Taking those arms all the way up to the ceiling. Bring your palms together, bring your arms down in front of you, draw those elbows in. As you're lowering the arms, you're lengthening the spine, growing taller. And woo, well done, good job.